AKR app. All right, some changes coming to the services offered by the Summit County Developmental Disabilities Board. They're going to be shutting down their adult day center on West Exchange, which kind of came as a surprise to me until I realized the reason why this is going on. And Billie Jo David joining us along with Tricia Perduke from Summit County DD to tell us more. And it's great to have both of you in studio with us. Thanks for coming in.
Well, thanks so much for having us. It's a really important issue to be talking about right now in the community.
It is. And when I saw this, I went, wait a minute. I saw the headline, and then I started reading in a little more, and I went, okay, this makes a little bit more sense. But tell the folks why this is happening.
Right. The federal government issued some new rules for anybody who takes advantage of Medicaid funding, which is currently about 86% of the adults that we support. That you cannot administer federal dollars and then use those federal dollars to pay yourself for services that you deliver because it's a conflict of interest.
Okay.
And our primary role in the community is being a service coordinator for more than 3,000 adults and being that single point of accountability for all of the services that they receive.
So 3,000 adults in total. How many at these day centers are going to be affected?
We currently support about 600 adults in our own programs, which is about 40% of the people who are receiving their services in these day programs. About 60% already receive those services from a private provider.
So it makes more sense then for you guys to go the provider or the distributor route rather than the provider route.
Correct. We have a lot of very qualified service providers in Summit County, like United Disability Service, Goodwill Industries, Hattie Larlum, Sifrin, Rem Ohio, that we've already worked with, among others. So we feel that we're in a good spot to make sure that individuals transition to another service provider, or they can try something different, like employment or an integrated senior center.
Is there going to be a transition for these people? Because I would imagine it's going to be a little bit of an inconvenience for them with this going away.
Absolutely. We understand completely that change is difficult for people. So we have been working with individuals for a few months now. We're not going to close the doors right away at our Akron Center. We're planning on closing sometime later this summer. A third of the people that we support at the Akron Center have already made different choices and have already tried new service providers. But we're going to support families. This is a transition, one person, one family at a time.
Have you talked to some of these other providers about maybe filling that role or maybe even taking over that center?
Absolutely. While we are not going to have another provider come and provide services in that center, that's a leased building. We have been talking to providers. There's a lot of capacity out there in the provider community already, but what we've been talking to providers about is developing new service options and trying something different that are more integrated. We developed a collaboration with Senior Independence so that our seniors in that center can have an integrated day experience with people their own age. So it's not necessarily about replacing the exact services, but trying to find better services for people.
So on first glance, this looks like it would be a negative thing, but you're saying in the long run, this could end up being a positive.
Yeah, well, we understand that it'll be a transition and that it'll be very difficult for some people who have been there for a long time. We're hoping, our goal is to get people in more integrated, better service options that currently exist. And while our logo isn't going to be on a building or on a bus that you might see, Summit DD is very much so in the community fulfilling the need that exists.
What kind of activities do your clients take part in with the current facility?
In the current facility, there's a lot of options for people. There are vocational programs where people can work on piecework and earn a small paycheck. There's habilitation programs where people can do classes and clubs and get their nursing needs met. And then there's a blended day for individuals who want to work but maybe can't work all day.
Will those same things be available at the other providers, or are they going to have to make a big adjustment there too?
Those same services will be available at other providers, but our goal is to work with each person and find out what their interests are, and if they want to work or want some more integrated options that are more community-based. We're working very hard with private providers to make sure that those options will exist for people should they choose something different with their day.
Talking to Billie Jo David from the Summit County DD Board on 1590 WAKR. Now, this facility is going to close. You're going to have to close all your adult client facilities. Are there other services that are currently offered by the DD that are going to have to go by the wayside?
Right now, this just impacts services that are funded through federal Medicaid, which are transportation services, these adult day programs, and then providing some community employment services. All of those services are provided by private providers as well, in addition to other services like residential services that Summit DD never has. This will not impact service coordination. This will not impact early intervention or other programs for children, or the health and safety and oversight services that we currently provide. So Summit DD is very much still in the community and still providing services to people with disabilities.
How many sites are within Summit County that are doing the day kind of services that have to be phased out, and what kind of timeline are we looking at?
Our Akron Center is the first of 6 day facilities that will be impacted. And again, this is not going to be overnight. This is going to be over a period of several years. We're hoping to accomplish the transition by 2020 and being able to work with providers and build that capacity in the community, as well as working with our families. So our families are going to have a lot of time to make other decisions for themselves.
And maybe I'm just spitballing here, but being out of this business of running these adult facilities, will that allow you to maybe put more focus, staffing, money, effort into some of those other great things that you do?
Absolutely. As not being a service provider, we're going to have more local control of the oversight. So we're not providing oversight of ourselves necessarily. So we are still very much going to be there identifying what a great service looks like, working with providers and partners, not being in competition with them for services, to offer those great programs and connect people to those great programs and provide a lot of oversight and direction and ensure the health and safety of the people we support.
Certainly some good news. And again, if there are people out there that need the services of Summit County DD, I want to make sure they have the information to get that too.
Great. If you are interested in Summit DD, finding out what we do, I encourage you to come to our website, www.summitdd.org. We have a quick start guide on that website that will walk you through our eligibility process and get you connected to the types of services that you're entitled to.
Great stuff. Billie Jo, thank you so much for coming in. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much.
Billie Jo David from the Summit County DD Board on 1590 WAKR are going to be shutting down some of their adult day centers. They have to do this because you can't have any appearance of conflict of interest. They changed the rules, and so you have to make sure that if you're getting Medicaid dollars that there's no conflict of interest there. So those will shut down starting next summer and then going forward there. So a little bit of a transition time is built in. 11:42